So I just introduced all of you guys and basically gave the rundown that Garpy and Recall, not familiar with this mod, it's going to be new to you, and we're going to hear your fresh opinions on the subject. We're also going to be talking to Wail, what his directions are with this new mod that's going out, see what he's going to tweak and change for the next time round, because obviously it's been a lot of feedback already, and we're going to give our opinions as well, repeat, and we're going to just basically play loads and loads of duels and just have a bit of fun and play with the new mods. And Wail, why did you get into developing this mod in the first place?
Well, I mean, I guess my explanation would just be that I wanted to play with weapons that were more like the original Unreal Tournament games. And I was sort of unhappy with a variety of different changes, and, you know, I can do it, so why not just do it? I'm not really happy with people talking all the time. Like, I just want to, you know, make changes that I want to do and see if people like it, and, you know, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to actually start off the game for Recoil and Garpy to play, and we're just going to chat alongside, and feel free to jump in your opinions, etc. Guys, as we start. But you said you weren't happy with the current weapon system. So what was your preferred weapon system? What was the game that inspired you the most when making these mods?
Well, I would say that Unreal Tournament 1 was probably the most inspirational, but I've been drawing on both Unreal Tournament and Unreal Tournament 2004 as like basically source material.
Okay. And I mean, most of the complaints with the weapon balance has been rockets, flak, but you've done a whole range of weapons from the Link Mini, pretty much everything, including the sniper rifle. But how many changes have been actually made? Can you give us the rundown of all the weapons for people that are not familiar in the chat?
Right, so currently there are 6 weapons that are changed. The shock rifle, the Link gun, the Stinger / Minigun, the Flak cannon, rocket launcher, and sniper. And all of those have changed in somewhat more, like some very little changes and some much more significant changes. In general, like, my approach has tried to be conservative, but as a person who likes making stuff and who enjoys novelty, I like to be creative. So the weapons that I thought were bad are ones that I was a little bit more experimental with.
Okay. Surprised that you didn't change up the bio rifle then, because it didn't really have a place for a long period of time until Stolid's movement, well, not movement mod, but weapon mod came out, and obviously Clawfist's modification to the bio rifle just recently. But surprised you didn't tinker with that a little bit more.
Oh, that's coming eventually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, there's plans for basically every weapon to be changed in some way. However, you know, there's only limited amounts of time, so.
Yeah. Garpy, are you there, mate? Just out of curiosity, I think he's disappeared off the face of the earth.
I'm here. What's up?
I've been trying to invite you to the game. Are you already in the game? What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in the game, mate.
Right. Okay. So so Repeat unfortunately took the slot, so Garpy couldn't get in, and just being the pre-alpha that Unreal Tournament is, slightly annoying. So now I have to refine the hub and all that kind of jazz. It won't be 2 minutes. But Repeat, we've played with Wail's weapons. What are your early thoughts so far?
It's mixed, to be honest. Quite some stuff I liked, quite some stuff I didn't like. A lot of it probably was not being used to it. Especially the rockets felt a little bit weak for me personally. Others I've heard didn't have any problems with them, so I don't know. The sniper felt very juicy. I like that, even though I don't think the actual stats changed a lot, right? It's still 70 damage.
No, not much really changed. I think it was just it's got a noise that plays right now, so you can hear it across the map. I think that's one of the main big changes, as well as it still has the normal reload time that the Epic gun has. But
Well, is the hit radius bigger on it or something, or
No.
just look like that?
Yeah, the sniper rifle is actually the most conservative change that I've done. Right now, the only difference between it and the Epic sniper rifle, functionality-wise,
1 second,
is 5
Zachary.
damage.
I think you need to raise our volume. In the chat.
I see.
Too quiet.
Thank you. Will do. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much more I can raise it. I'll give it a go. Let's see, open up the mixer. It's as loud as it can go
Oh,
on
so
everyone.
well. What was the change?
The sniper rifle changes are very, very conservative. The only difference between the sniper rifle that is currently being used and the one that I've made is 5 damage on the shot. So the Epic one does 65 and mine does 70.
Yeah, the old epic one basically.
Well, it's a little slower than that in terms of rate of fire,
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah.
But the damage wise, it didn't change drastically or something, or the hitbox or something is not bigger, because I felt like I hit a lot more with your sniper rifle than with the normal one.
Well, I mean, that just must be a different server or, you know, psychological.
Yeah, probably placebo, I guess.
I must admit, I probably felt the same actually with the sniper rifle, but totally placebo. But
And the fire on the shock rifle as well.
the shock rifle's been changed, so the primary fire is slower, but secondary balls can be spammed out very, very quickly. In fact, that's one issue that I had with the shock rifle, is that it has become very, very spammable with that secondary fire, especially in close range fights. It almost sort of defeats the point of using a quick weapon switch a lot of the time against like a flat cannon or a rocket launcher, in my opinion, sometimes.
Yeah, that's something I'm not happy with either. However, in order to get a fast, responsive combo, you have to make the refire rate on the secondary very low. I would prefer not to have it that low, but I can't make changes that would actually allow me to differentiate between you can combo versus you can fire another secondary.
Once you've detonated, it slows everything down, yeah?
I'm sorry, what?
He asked if
Detonating. Oh shit. When you detonate the secondary shot, goes really slow, like you can't spam it again, can you?
That's normal. I mean, it's just the refire rate on the primary that you're waiting for.
Yeah, there is no extra delay added when you combo something. It's just the refire rate from the primary.
Yeah. Just feels probably the same. It's just me not playing. Feels, you know, you're spamming the ball quicker, like boom, 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 and then you shoot it, and it's like, oh, I can't.
The
I wanna
radius
spam
felt
it
a lot
again.
less.
Yeah, I want to spam it again. Dig, 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 pop, pop. But maybe it might be a bit OP if you did that.
hopefully you can hear these guys a little bit louder now. I turned up the volume as much as I could.
This
You probably
Stinger
should
alt fire
reduce
was
your personal
weird.
volume, and then the people can actually increase the volume in general for them, so we are all on the same level.
Okay,
I think it's just you being a lot louder than us.
gotcha. Hopefully it sounds better.
There's
like
one
this now.
combo I thought I should have taken a lot more damage. So I took none. And what I'd normally get on vanilla weapons, I would have got thumped with it.
Give it another go, guys. Play another game, same map, whatever you're familiar with. But
no one.
I can actually focus maybe on the actual stream and what's going on a little bit better now that I'm not trying to fix that.
I didn't notice much difference in the sniper actually.
I like the sound. Doink, doink.
The visuals are a lot nicer actually. I'm not
But
paying
yeah, I
too
also
well.
noticed that with the shock rifle, that the combo radius seems a lot smaller than the normal one. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 40% smaller right now.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
What's
Yeah.
also a lot smaller is the actual ball itself to try and detonate, isn't it? Like I really struggled at first trying to hit moving combos, like shock
it's
beams going
smaller,
through it.
Looks like it's a double ball. And it's like 2 circles to hit.
Yeah, the combo, like the sphere radius that you need to hit to actually activate a combo is smaller. Right now, it's kind of, in my opinion, too large. It's almost as large as a player, and in the next build, it will be larger than a player in radius.
Well, it seems like these guys are going to piss about on Tuba a little bit.
It's a pro map.
It's just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess it's okay.
One thing I noticed is that this is not running my sniper rifle, but that's not really a big deal.
Is it not? Because I'm sure it said it in my mutators mod.
I didn't see them having it yesterday, last match.
Really? You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, let's back out again to the hub again, as I'm fairly sure I had that.
Right.
That alt fire on the mini is actually quite fun.
What's that on? The alt fire on what?
Stinger.
On the minigun.
Oh, I've not even used that.
It wasn't on. What?
Yeah, it's just what I just did a second ago. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Not too sure the delay on it, or the rate of fire or damage, but yeah, it looks fun.
So pretty dire so far, but here we go. Okay, I've re-hosted a lobby for you guys. ASDF, the map vote is on, so if the map ends, remember to vote for the map that you want. Otherwise, you'll get Tuba 24/7.
Are you saying Tuba's not a good map?
Well,
Not pretty good, mate.
it's a great casual map. It just ain't very good competitively.
Yeah, for some reason the sniper rifle. Oh, there it is. It's on the end there.
Yeah, now I see it as well.
There we go. Yeah, it was off for some funny reason, but I'm fairly sure it was on. And even though you said earlier on today it was off repeat and recoil, it was on. Like the Sapphire shock rifle was listed here on the mutator. It's like, you guys are crazy.
I believe you. I believe you.
What's changed on the sniper?
I believe you
compared to
believe
the
it.
original.
Mostly, it's just to visually differentiate it from the Epic sniper rifle, so
Ah.
it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, it explains why I didn't notice anything.
See if I can turn on some in-game audio. If I just make it very low, it lets me change the settings, that is. There we go. Hopefully this isn't too loud, but it probably will be. Yeah, let's... So, Garpy, you're a big fan of actually the regular primary Stinger fire from the previous build, so you'll have to let me know what you think of this one.
What is the? Oh, what's that do? Oh,
Hold.
yeah.
Hold secondary fire down.
And then primary, and it's like. Blah, 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 blah.
If you hold primary and secondary together, you get an increased primary fire, which is absolutely crazy damage, point blank range. It can obliterate somebody in about 2.0 seconds. It's just crazy.
I didn't even know that.
Did you not?
No, when we played, I only used the primary, like the normal primary, and I felt like, what the fuck? Why is the
So
thing
press the
is
normal
so
primary.
bad?
Yeah, and then press the secondary fire.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Now I see it.
But I actually really like the primary fire on the minigun in terms of the feel and how it hits. I haven't experimented enough in terms of the damage, or was the damage even changed on it?
Yeah, the damage was decreased quite significantly actually on the minigun.
By
But the fire
default,
rate is
is it
high, right?
16 bullets? 16 damage per bullet?
14, I think it was.
Yeah, the Epic one is 14, and I changed it down to 11, I think, by default.
But is the fire rate significantly increased, like the fast one compared to the normal epic one?
So the sequencer minigun, it fires at the same rate normally, but when you activate the overdrive mode, which is the faster firing rate, then it increases its firing speed by 50%.
3 minutes remain.
Okay, so it's a lot faster.
Yeah,
Less
it's
damage
quite a
per-
What do you
bit
think?
faster.
more
Difference of the length?
projectiles.
What was that, recoil?
The link gun.
What's about it?
But what was interesting about the link gun is that it's got a built-in wall hack at the moment. Was that intentional, Wail?
Well, it's not really intentional that it works that way, but
What's the
it's probably too expensive to necessarily fix that,
What
or
it-
at
is
least
it
I don't
doing?
want to.
I got the link gun out. Then there was like primary and then secondary. Is it like a shield? It does on the second, or
It's more like a shotgun blast.
okay.
What kind of extra damage does the burst do? Because whenever I tried practicing it on bots or having a friend just take damage, it only ever seemed to do 10 damage, even at close range when you bursted it.
It's supposed to do about 50, but it scales based on the distance from you to your target, so that's really dependent on how close you are.
And does it have a knockback effect as well, or no knockback effect?
It should have a knockback effect. That kind of functionality, I'll need to test and make sure that it's working right.
Yeah,
That's one thing that's on my to-do list to check over and make sure that it's all
was-
functioning.
I was doing some warm-up games with a friend, and we did it at all different ranges, and it only ever seemed to do 10 damage, so it must be somewhat bugged somehow, or maybe it was just the instance of the game we loaded and just messed up. Pretty interested to know if you're going to try a Quake sort of LG on that link gun. I'd be interested to see how that actually works in
With the
Unreal Tournament.
pushback, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been asking for it, or mentioning it, just to see how it would actually function in Unreal Tournament. I'm intrigued by it as well. I'd like to give it a test, and with all your weapons
Slightly
mods.
abused.
To have the beam push people away.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
It's something I'd definitely be willing to try. I think what we'll run into though is just because of lack of support, it'll probably feel really janky. Like you'll be glitching back and forth really fast.
I do like the sniper, like the effect of it.
Yeah, it's a
More
little
like
bit
a
more
lightning
clearer,
bolt.
isn't it? Gonna turn recoil down a bit because he's
The
coming out broken.
you're laughing at.
Someone joined in the spectator and is asking, "Is this dude walling?" And Whale just answered, "Yes."
3, 2,
So, what are your thoughts, Gareth? Because I'm interested to know, because you thought the default rockets in Unreal Tournament were too slow. And
To be fair, Dave, because I don't like the UT rockets. If you watch the 5 minutes of that game, I didn't actually use the rocket launcher once.
fair enough.
Maybe I should have used it.
That would help. Did you even try the flat cannon yet? Because that's had some severe nerfs. I mean, right now, my opinion on the flat cannon is it's sometimes not even worth using. It's better off to use just any form of hit scan weapon.
He's at him.
I like the stinger with the when you told me about the primary and you press the
That's way
second.
too powerful.
That's hilarious.
It is.
I love the stinger anyway. It's the best gun in the game, but that's hilarious.
I did not expect the amount of damage that was coming out.
So, what kind of changes have you got lined up, Whale, in terms of mixing up? What kind of feedback have you taken on board with your weapons?
Well, most people have been saying that the splash radiuses are a little bit too tight, and I generally agree with that. My perspective is to start with more aggressive changes and then step back. So I'll probably be stepping back a little bit on some of the splash radius reductions.
My thoughts for when you do changes as well, I think maybe just leave them in a little bit longer as well, because right now we've had not that long really to really test them out fully, and like And like Repeat said, he didn't even know about the minigun fire yet, and he's played with this mod quite a bit. Are you willing to like give it a month or two before you continue to make changes, or would you rather just listen to what the community says within that first week and then just go bam, hammer out a new version?
Well, I think some of the feedback is I'm just not used to this. But a lot of the feedback in general I agree with, and so I'm willing to go ahead and make the kinds of changes that I think are appropriate.
Yeah.
In general, though, like I'm not gonna say that if I'm gonna make a change that I'm never gonna go back on anything, because I want to be flexible and I want to be responsive to people. And part of that is, you know, no one knows exactly what the final game should look like, so we have to be willing to try different things.
Are you worried that this mod could potentially split the community, or are you expecting Epic to start emulating what you're doing and your balance changes? What are you hoping to achieve with this mod?
That's a hard question to answer. I would like for Epic to go more in this direction, but I'm pretty confident that they won't.
Okay. So you think they're not going to listen to the community, or they're not going to listen to all of the community?
I mean, I think that at this point, it's almost 2 years into development. We have a pretty clear idea of where the official game is going. And, you know, I think that's fine, actually. Like, I enjoy the official game, but it's not exactly what I want. And that's not just the gameplay, but in a lot of respects. And so that's why, you know, this has kind of come about, like, where I'm essentially making Unreal as I see it should be. You know, like as you'll notice with all these weapons, like they've got saturated colors because Unreal is a very colorful game.
Right.
And, you know, like even the artistic style has changed, and that's not something that I necessarily agree with, because I like the game that I enjoyed and grew up playing. So if people want to play the new game, that's fine. If they want to play with my stuff, that's fine. And I don't see any necessary conflict between those.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the mods will obviously split the community quite a bit, as in, you know, the competitive community, which is the game mode that they play, which are the weapons that they play with, what should they be training with, and that I feel is an issue. But I also think that Epic should be looking at what you're doing and see what people like and change and adapt their balance to what you've created as well in some instances. I mean, I don't agree with all the weapon changes myself. I think, you know, link gun, for when I first started using it, I absolutely hated your link gun in every respect. But some of it's warmed up to me. I like the idea of, because what I liked about the pool in the original Unreal Tournament version is that, you know, it's a very plus back game, Unreal Tournament. Anybody can fucking run away no matter where they go in this, and especially with the impact hammer, you can just get out of any situation from a link gun, and it's usually used as a finishing off move, and there's nothing more frustrating than having somebody like squirm off. And that's why I really liked the pull function, that you couldn't always get away from those fights. You can sometimes, don't get me wrong, but it just gave it another extra nice bit of element. But you've got a movement sequence in there as well, as in you can boost yourself across the map very quickly to try and catch up to somebody, which was pretty interesting actually. I mean, it's very similar to like shard jumping, but it could well work. I don't mind the link gun secondary damage as well. I think that's okay, and I'm willing to try different things, and I'm willing to give them time as well. Like, I don't, you know, just dismiss it immediately.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the right attitude for people to have, is to be a little bit more open to changes. Like I personally, I enjoy the link pull conceptually. I think it's a very interesting idea, but I also recognize that it's very frustrating to have your movement controlled by someone else in the game. Whereas the blast functionality that I've implemented is like, it's giving you a little bit more movement freedom, which is kind of how I see the link gun fitting into the weapon arsenal.
I always found it really funny because when it became, you know, when people say, oh, I don't like being pulled, I was like, but you don't mind getting pushed back 3-4 times with a shock primary, which I always found like, you know, it's essentially the same thing but going in a different direction, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument. I would probably say just because, like, I definitely have a much more noticeable reaction to being pulled than I do pushed. And I think that's because naturally, like, just due to inherent psychology, you expect when you get hit by something big that something is going to be pushed.
What
But
happens
you
if
don't.
if you didn't
you
see the impact though? Say if you didn't see somebody pull you, but you just thought somebody shot you in front of you with the shock rifle, then how do you think that changes?
I mean, I expect to get pushed when I get hit by a shock rifle beam. In fact, it kind of feels appropriate because now I'm being damaged and it feels right.
Okay.
3,
Right.
2, 1.
But I mean, that's all. It's all just psychology. So I don't know that that's right. I just know that I felt like it was annoying to get pulled.
Yeah.
And even though I do think it has some really cool potential uses, like in theory, you could use it to pull like your flag carrier in CTF, and like make him, pull him out of the way of an enemy fire. It's just not actually that useful.
So how are you finding the weapon balance, guys? How's it feeling?
Weird to get used to. Link, I've been abusing Link a lot recently, and it's just so much slower. You can't spam it into people's faces.
I do struggle with the primary fire still. I still don't like it in terms of the medium and long range usability of it. I like the idea of the change, trying it out, and I need a couple more probably hours of playing with it to get used to it, but just doing some preliminary tests, like medium, long ranges, like you can dodge very, very easily against it. Like no matter how good somebody's prediction is, they only ever hit 1 or 2 balls at that range, and maybe that's the intended purpose. But I really like the idea of the link gun closing down as well. The shock balls. That if somebody's camping with the shock rifle, playing that very defensive game, is that you have an option to push into a room with that primary link. And unfortunately, I was a bit upset not to see that reoccur with your link gun.
Oh, yeah, I've missing that as well. Is the damage on the primary changed?
I think it's dropped by maybe 1 or 2, but not very significantly. With the primary
feels
fire, the
very
biggest
underwhelming.
change. Yeah, with the primary fire, the biggest change is the default epic link gun has hit assist radius on the projectiles, and that's been significantly reduced.
Hit assist radius, what is that?
It makes it so that you hit if you're within a certain radius of actually, the other player. So if you're
so
within
like
20
in his
units.
face?
Oh no, like if you're shooting to the side and you're like 10 units off, it'll hit him even if
Okay,
it
gotcha,
would
yeah.
actually miss.
Garpy, what are you feeling about the shock rifle that you're using now?
I actually like the shot rifle.
Shock rifle and minigun abuse.
Interesting. For me, the shock rifle, don't mind the 45 primary damage. I just wish the rate of fire was like the epic one. Actually, I actually like being able to ping people. It feels good. It feels natural to Unreal Tournament. The secondary ball spam just feels too much of a problem in close range combat, and especially with its larger damage. Like I've never.
The damage is insane.
For me, I've never seen the shot. I don't understand why the shot ball should be useful in close range. Like it's got so many uses. The shock rifle is just so versatile in every way, shape, and form, and just the mechanic of the combo. It literally can just zone somebody out. It can do big damage. It's just so flexible that I don't think the secondary fire needs to be as flexible. I think its ideal purpose is to be comboed rather than to be spammed. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, see, I personally don't agree with that. I think that every firing mode should be independently useful. But I mean, I definitely agree. Like it's extremely powerful right now. Like having all that versatility. And the question is, what do we do to make it so that it's
1 minute
as
remains.
good as people want it to be, but not overpowered?
Well, I'm actually intrigued because I can't remember if it has a knockback effect on it as well. I think it might do. But yeah, I just think it adds too much. Like, what's the big deal if the shot core does 35 damage per hit in close range and doesn't do a knockback? Is that such a big deal?
30
Well, I mean,
seconds left.
it's harder to hit the shock ball than it is to hit the primary. So why should the shock ball do less damage?
Well, it has a bigger effect on a player model and a close
Yeah, in
range
close
that
range.
you're not necessarily forced to switch from a bad weapon to a better weapon for the
Variation, yeah.
scenario.
9, 8, 7,
You
6,
basically get caught in a bad situation, or one that should be bad for the shock rifle, and then you just start spamming balls and do like 55 damage a piece.
And then
suddenly
it blocks.
the
It also
guy
has
with
that
balls is
shield
dead.
effect as well that blocks incoming projectiles and hit scan
Yeah,
weapons.
that too.
I
That's
don't
just-
think it actually blocks any projectiles in this one.
Try the sniper rifle. It should block that.
What's that? Is that the?
Is it something you added to the shock core? Because the normal shock core blocks pretty much everything except bio and link primary.
I don't think it blocks anything as far as I'm aware, but I could be wrong on that.
Retest it.
Yeah, go for it. I'm fairly sure it definitely 100% blocks the sniper rifle. And I think
Yeah,
it
which
blocks
is very
link secondary
frustrating.
as well.
Yeah, it may block hit scan attacks just because it has to interact with them for the shot combo to work.
The only reason why I don't like it blocking so much is like if somebody tries to do a standing still combo, again it's like they're going for the easy move because they don't want to, they want to get big damage, but there should be like a price to pay for wanting to stand still. It's like if somebody stands still for a headshot.
On the armor, mate. Head armor. Well then.
Yeah, I don't think it should block anything at all.
Did that hit you?
No.
Oh, 100 damage. That's blocked, definitely. Can you try the same with rockets?
And the flat ball as well.
Well, the flak ball is kind of bad to test, I guess.
No, the
Okay,
flat.
no.
No.
Okay, projectiles seem to get through.
Rectiles definitely hit.
That's cool at least.
About many.
Like, that was one of the most frustrating things on some previous UTs, is that projectiles would get blown up by the shock ball. So you'd be in a point blank fight and somebody would spam out shock balls and you just kill yourself on a shock ball.
Yeah, they'd shield themselves with it essentially.
And I know
I definitely
I know there's some
Secondary
players
shots
like
don't
that,
have that.
but,
That was blocked, wasn't it?
Now I'm not saying like you should add all of these ideas that we're suggesting. It's just
But they're all coming
they're
through.
all just like feedback, and
Ah, they're
these are
coming
your
through, mate.
mods, and feel free to do whatever you like. Well, it's nice to actually try different things. It's nice to have something to experiment with and compare it to. And I feel with your work that you're doing, you're going to speed up the process on the weapon balance situation with Epic as well, for them to try different and unique things as well.
Yeah,
I think-
they've already started doing changes that I feel are kind of instigated by like going forward with the Unreal Prime stuff here.
Just see if it blocks secondary link.
I don't know if he's blocking it or not.
3 minutes remain.
I'll shoot one. Do we know if it's going?
No, I think that's going through.
Stand still.
Try the link secondary. You'll be able to tell.
So much short that is.
Yeah.
I didn't stop it at all.
It didn't look like it was straight on, actually.
Yeah, you guys need to be on a level floor for that test to be valid.
Yeah, it's
It blocks
blocking
it.
it.
That's really something that I probably can't change because it'll probably require C++ to
Okay.
go in there and alter that.
What do you?
That's been a big frustration for me in general. Is like certain things, like I know I can do them, and I would have no problem doing so, but the C++ versus Blueprint situation is kind of frustrating.
What are your thoughts on the Flak cannon, guys? I mean, were you using it much in that game?
I tried to. I didn't. Yeah, I managed to get 2 hits on Gareth to kill him, but apart from that, it was literally like I was throwing peas at him.
See, I like it because I think not that I like it because it's been nerfed that much, but it used to really frustrate me that
Somebody would take
Could just
one hit
sound-
Flak.
yeah, I'd have full control and like someone's flacking me like a sniper, and I've got no health left. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Flak cannon right now for Epic is like the OP, and then you've got this Flak cannon which is just so underpowered. Like there's got to be a good middle ground in there somewhere.
You want to have the ability that when you flak someone with a primary, you get a kind of like, yeah, got him, but it doesn't do too much.
I almost feel that short range isn't that practical with it because of the way how it spreads out. It feels better as a slightly short mid range rather than short range. Like, and it just feels very weird not to be able to hit some close range shots, which
And
seem
like
like they
this-
should.
I like the
that's
flat
the
balls just
bigger
lower now.
change, right?
Less flat ball spam.
To be fair, you know what it reminds me of? The primary is like the single barrel shotgun in Half-Life. More concentrated burst, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. It's also more useful at longer ranges as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the damage fall off is like.
9,
Does it fall off the longer it travels? Well,
5,
Yeah, it does. That's a default behavior for the flak shells, and
Okay.
that's preserved in this as well.
See, that was 2 direct flat balls and he didn't die, which is quite nice.
Yeah, what's the damage on the secondary flag ball again?
The damage is 90, so it's 10 less
Ah,
than
yeah,
the
right.
default one.
The flak's all right. The original, I think what needed to be done to the original flak is it's all right doing a lot of damage when you're close up. So when you do it close up, it does a fair bit of damage, but it needed to have a lot more fall off over the distance, I think. If you get what I mean. So it's like it's a close weapon, but it can't be used to bounce off walls from miles away and just so much damage. Well, that's what it felt like when I played anyway.
It's always been like that.
Yeah,
2K4 was never really like that. Your 2-3 was a little bit like that.
what do you think of the rockets and the tri
Well,
rocket and stuff? Are you happy
It's
to see
weird
that
getting
return?
used to the try. It's weird to get used to after it being gone for a while. I don't know, you
uses
can tell the slowness. Is it more damage on the rocket or a bigger radius?
No.
It feels like it.
Less damage.
I reckon you should speed the rocket up, lower the splash.
How about you just increase the knockback but decrease the damage, so you can actually popple people? That'd be more fun.
To just be making them more bouncy.
Yeah, but then you need fast weapon switch, and you can combo type of stuff. So
Well,
Mid-air rockets. Boom, boom.
2, 1.
I don't mind
Yeah.
the rockets. They're very 2K4 feeling, aren't they? Which is good. Nothing wrong with that. But I just feel the damage is lacking on it. It feels like a little bit like the flak in terms of its damage. I don't feel gratified when I do land a good rocket with its 95 damage to 90 damage. Especially when you
Yeah.
land like an air rocket. It's more difficult. It's definitely a lot more difficult. And you
Yeah,
almost feel
the,
disappointed.
Like kind of the origin of these weapons was I started making like the flak cannon and the Trident rocket launcher as if I'm gonna make a Unreal Tournament or 2K4 like direct mod in this game, those are exactly what I would use. But they're kind of evolving from that just because of the Unreal Prime like idea, so they're kind of becoming something new. But yeah, like the Trident right now is essentially directly the 2K4 rocket launcher.
That's
See-
up a rocket. A link.
Sorry?
The
That
secondary
link
rocket
secondary
farm,
looked like it stopped my rocket. Or it detonated it.
I know, it did hit me, I think.
I think it did hit him. It was pretty low health after that fight. I was going to say, I actually really liked the epic change to the rocket launcher, as I felt it made it less spammy and less useful in clutch situations. Like, what annoyed me about the tri-pack rocket is that you would spend a lot of time trying to regain control of an opponent just for them to pick up a rocket launcher and right click and just jump in a pit area like ASDF here, or a raise, and just wipe your complete control straight away and take whatever armor was there, or just wipe off the shield belt that you had. Yeah, I just found that really, really annoying.
Minutes remain.
Even though you can hear it coming, sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
A lot of times, actually. Yeah, I like the epic rockets.
Are there any other
as well.
ideas that you'd be thinking to trying or utilizing with the secondary rockets?
Well, ultimately, I think from a competitive player standpoint, I think people just don't want to have loading rockets whatsoever. And I'm willing to, make a rocket launcher that has that type of functionality too. I think the whole idea of being able to load up 3 or 6 rockets and do like 300 to 600 damage in one go just may not be a competitive idea in the first place. But at the same time, like, I consider myself more of a casual player and I want that, so that's what I'm gonna make first.
Fair enough. Well, it's funny you say about the competitive scene, but a lot of the competitive players want it back as well. So It's-
Personally, I never liked it.
it's a hit and miss situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand like why people don't like it, and I also feel like I understand why people do like it, because this is Unreal Tournament 4, and really, if we don't have the formula down by now of what the weapons actually do, then it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, I just expect weapon balance to continuously change through patch to patch for the rest of its life, essentially, because I don't think there should be any fixed meta. I don't think there should be a patch where, there's no way you can balance all these weapons. Like there's like 10 guns with secondary fire modes, and some of them have third fire modes. That's like
1 minute.
ridiculous amount of weapons, and to balance all of that, I just don't think it's possible, and it's never going to be possible. But what will bring people back and try Unreal Tournament again, if they know that something's been nerfed in a particular build or something's changed in a particular build, it gets people excited and they come back, and there's going to be different meta shifts and different play styles being developed through different metas, and this is like pretty much changing from every game. If you look at CS, they've changed how the recoil spreads work, and they keep updating it. Every time they've updated it, they've changed how those have worked. And it's kind of like, I'd like to see the similar thing happen to Unreal Tournament, that it's never going to be a set meta. It's not ever going to be just a hit scan only game like 2K4 was. That kind of thing. That's how I would like to see it.
Most changes are, or should be, more from the numbers perspective. Like, you can't, in the middle of the released game or in between seasons, just change how the weapon completely works. You can adjust damage or fire rates or something like that, but
Well,
changing completely how a weapon works, I don't think that's a good idea when the game is released. That's why the functionality should be spot on before we go further.
So you think just later on you'd be tweaking damages and speeds, and
Yeah, exactly.
rather than the weapon game mode, like the pull function, etc.
Exactly.
Seems to be a bug of bio launcher. If you run out of ammo, then pick up ammo afterwards. It doesn't refill it.
It does not.
Did not
Yeah,
know that.
That's because the ammo doesn't actually give you bio launcher ammo; it gives you bio rifle ammo.
Yeah, it doesn't replace the ammo as well.
I like how the bio, the primary bio, now when you stick it to a wall, it's like a web. It sticks a web like arms out of it. So
Yeah.
if you walk through it, that's pretty cool.
Can you detonate it with Link?
I like it, but it's too powerful at the moment. I mean, I've won some clutch duels because of that, just by alone. So if they nerf the damage on it, I'll be happy with it. I think it's a really cool mechanic to have there, because you really have to stop and think of how you deal with
Imagine
that
if it
problem.
added a slow instead of a lot of damage.
Anyways, so overall, how are you finding those weapons? Are you enjoying them?
I prefer the
think-
shock AoE to be bigger. It's too small.
See, I actually like that because I think people abuse it.
I guess I'm too used to using it the larger AoE, which you found's being a primary gun of UT4.
It's like a little nuke used to go off. You don't even have to be anywhere near it and it kill you. Like boom, boom, dead. So, at least now it's a bit more skillful.
Yeah, I'll give that. Rate of fire though is too much over the balls in the primary.
The only thing I didn't like about the shock was the rate of fire on the primary, and of course the secondary shock spam. The combos,
I like the primary speed now. That's pretty cool.
I
Quite
don't
nice.
like the primary so much.
I've a feeling though, if it's shock with the speed of rate of fire or primary, you'll go back to 2K4 type of setup.
Maybe
Wait.
with the current overall weapon balance, but I think Wail's already sort of made some tweaks to lots of the different weapons, so I think there is a good balance twist in there somewhere.
We know what it was like 2K4 primary shock, so
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, the previous version of the Sapphire shock rifle that people were playing with in December. This was actually before Unreal Prime really came about, so the servers were not set up, and most people hadn't played with that. But there were a couple of pug games in CTF that were using the Sapphire shock rifle. It was super overpowered, like pretty much the only weapon that people would be using in the game.
3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
I was going to say the only thing I'd probably change is the core size. I think it does need to be slightly larger, as like it doesn't really matter what the core size is if you're standing still and shot comboing, but it does really matter if you're trying to land moving combos, which is a skill and it is quite difficult anyway, even regarding the normal weapon balance as well, even though it's quite a big ball to hit. But that's just my opinion on it. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that, and like I said before, like my approach is generally to be more aggressive at first and then try and step back.
Yeah.
The
The visualization of the ball. though.
I will say that the larger the hit radius is to actually combo, the more of your sniper shots are going to get blocked.
I like the secondary stinger, but I think you need to be a bit quick on the projectiles, because it's nice to have it all locked up, but when you fire it from mid to long range, it's so easily avoidable.
I think it's more of a short range mechanic as well.
But you lock it up, and
Spam
it's just,
mechanic.
Yeah, you mean once you lock it up, when you loose it, just instantly loose all of them.
yeah, which is cool, but it's just you need them faster. Maybe increase the speed the more you look up. Because if you fires now, or just completely pointless.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger sore spots right now, is getting the balance on that right. Like the amount of damage that deals out is incredibly devastating, but you're never going to hit all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it reminds me of now, like a plasma gun in Quake, where you could get the projectile to like hit it.
Yeah. I mean, what does the primary link feel for you actually? That's a good question, Garpy, because you're a Quake player, and it's kind of very similar,
3
stylized on that plasma.
Yeah,
think-
I can't use a plasma in Quake.
Fair
I
enough.
think the primary is too close to though.
Wow.
As I say, whenever I get the link, it's always basically it is, yeah. It's used exactly the same as the one in Quake. You wouldn't see. I wouldn't use the primary close range. I'd just use it for like running away, spamming kind of
Yeah.
thing, to trail behind me, or predictive long range spam. Where if anyone's close range, I'd just use the secondary. The nice thing is, with when people are close range with the secondary, and then that like shotgun blast it does as well. That's pretty cool actually. So as they get right on top of you, just pop that, and it like hurts them as well. So
Yeah, if you do that again, but look at the floor and dodge, you can get a movement speed buff.
Oh, so the link detonates bio now.
Everything detonates the bio, but just basically damage does it.
It took about 3 primary links.
Try it with a dodge first, as you're in mid-air with the dodge, Gareth. You're a movement noob.
this is correct, Dave.
Yeah. Overall, I think what you've done well is a really good job, mate. It's nice to see somebody taking an initiative and showing that there's another way to go, and there's certain changes that Epic should be looking at and maybe considering.
Yeah, and really this is just sort of the beginning. If you looked at like my list of things that I would ultimately like to do, you'd probably be like, this guy's crazy. And that's also true, but I think that this is a interesting and creative direction to go in.
I've criticised some of your weapons quite a bit, quite heavily, but in a couple of months, my opinion could change. Like, there's many times that previously, like, I didn't think the shock rifle should have been changed from the Epic version, and when it got nerfed, I was like, hang on, actually, it's not so bad. Actually, I kind of enjoy it now, and it takes time to grow some weapon enjoyment. Like, it doesn't happen straight away.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like, people are very quick to judge a lot of things, and in a lot of cases, like, your perception of
10,
what's good or not is mostly formed by what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so, like, you have to give
People
time to
don't
get
like
familiar with
change.
something.
2, 1.
No, they don't like change, and I think this game has to change its weapons to suit this game, but not be too distant as well. Like, it's got to have a really good balance of the best of sort of every world of Unreal Tournament, almost.
You seem to find that most people that moan are the ones that only ever stuck to one UT. You rarely ever get it from people who've moved from UT to UT that are complaining about it. If you look at the people that complain, it's the ones that are stuck with, say, UT99 or 2K4. Pretty much. You have no gripes from anyone on UT3. On UT99, they're on their own planet, pretty much.
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's a lot of UT99 players that are actually quite open to the changes, like Wolf, for instance. Like, yeah,
But Wolf's played all the UTs, though.
Oh, has he?
That's what I mean. He played 2K4, he played UT3, and now he's playing this. That's what I mean. It's all the ones that seem to be more amenable to it and want to adapt to change are the ones that play them all. And the ones that seem to be stuck in the mud are the ones that are only ever good at one UT. Not being mean, but they never tried nor got on with the others.
Okay. Interesting perspective.
That's what I found out anyway. So
I don't think it's necessarily true, but
prove me wrong.
well, I can't think of a name, but maybe
You can't prove me wrong.
give me a week and maybe I'll get a couple. But
Well, someone who takes a more conservative stance in the first place is more likely to stick with one game.
yeah,
Definitely some truth to that.
I mean, I'm really happy that you've just took the initiative, made some awesome weapon mods. We get to try them, play with them, and it's just a new experience when you play a game now, which is cool. And hopefully some of the stuff that you've made gets implemented into the core game. I don't think all of it will, but I think you know that yourself as well.
Oh yeah.
But every little helps, doesn't it? I mean, we want to get the game as close as possibly balanced in one way, even though I don't think balance is a real thing, and everybody's mental if they think something's balanced. Like, if somebody says UT99 was balanced, then it really wasn't. If 2K4 was really balanced, it really wasn't. There's no perfect margin, but I think there's something to enjoy with every weapon. So, yeah.
Yeah, that, like, I agree with you. Balance is sort of an illusionary concept. but I do think that like the metagames of those previous UTs, like that's what people want when they talk about balance. And I'm okay with like creating stuff that's more in line with the metagames of past UTs. I think that we can explore beyond that too, but I don't think that that should necessarily be driven through forcing people to accept a new meta.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna call it a day there on the stream. But anything else that you guys wanted to bring up or mention?
I like that there's decent weapons to try out. I was worried not trying them before they're going to be a bit naff, but they're just nice to have like combinations that you can string together with the same weapon. So it's not like the traditional 2 fires per weapon.
Yeah.
Especially with the minigun, the turbo boost. It's just like, whoa.
I'm actually looking forward to trying out the link gun now, because when I've been playing, I haven't been utilizing the movement tool on it whatsoever. And I'm going to be doing that a lot more, I feel, as of recently in my next couple of duel games that I play.
Yeah, that's a very skill-based thing, and I'm certainly not a trials movement guy myself, but I think people can do some really cool things with it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all about the catch-up mechanic. That's what you use the link for. You use it to finish off people, and there's nothing more frustrating when somebody gets away with 2 HP. That's one of my personal hates, and I absolutely hate the impact hammer secondary fire with a passion. Like, I was a 2K4 player, and I didn't mind the shield gun whatsoever. And then when I stopped playing 2K4 and played UT3 and then went back to 2K4, I could not stand the shield gun anymore. I hated it. I hated everything about it, that you had to be... certain situations you could just be completely reckless with no regard to anything that's going around you, and it infuriated me. But then 2K4 had some really unique plays as well with that shield gun as well, how you could be really aggressive, pushing aggressive with the shield gun to get closer to your opponents. So that had its merits, but I think if they're going to do anything with a secondary impact hammer, is to nerf its cooldown or something, or only have like 2 charges on it or something. That's my personal thoughts with it.
We'll see what happens with the impact hammer. That's something that I'll get around to at some point too. There's plenty of different ways to take it.
Cool. Glad to hear it. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into the stream. I'm going to be calling it a day there. Sorry for all the technical issues and the slow talking at the start. I was trying to figure out all my buttons and shiz. But thanks for tuning in. Make sure you catch into the UT stream next week, and also the next UT forecast coming up in 2 weeks' time.